you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences. The following...
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Team Shit Show 2.0. And tonight we're going to be talking about emotional vampires. And my guest I met on X, and her name is Chelle. So welcome tonight. And how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing really good, thank you.
Well, great.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm very thankful to have you tonight. And I think this is a really interesting thing to talk about this evening, because a lot of people, I'm pretty sure, once they listen to what you're going to be talking about, are going to realize that they met quite a few of these people that drain them of, just for no reason, basically, just for their own selfish needs, most of them. And this, hopefully, we will help them with seeing it the next time and how to just kind of like step away from those type of relationships to make yourself healthier, because the stress level with everything that's been going on in our lives in the last 4 years, with politics and everything, and the price of food and job losses and being invaded, over our borders and all that, on top of everything, coming along with bad relationships, health problems, all that on top of it. And the last thing you need is someone who's draining you in your daily life. So I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself a little bit and give us a little idea of why you decided to start doing what you did with your YouTube channel about trying to help people deal with emotional vampires. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Chelle. I am forming thoughts on YouTube, and I started this series about 15 years ago because I had not only dealt with emotional vampires for years, in different situations in life, whether it be a family member or a coworker, or a lover, or there was many that I had come across in my lifetime. But I also didn't realize that I was a recovering emotional vampire, which I think is really common for some people not to realize that they are. And once I was able to dawn on that discovery, I was able to grow and to learn how not to do what I called the dance anymore. And so through making these YouTube videos, they're just my personal experiences of what I've learned through the research that I did. Some of it is just experience that I had, intuition. I am very intuitive. And so I put this series together in hopes of helping someone. It really actually started out just one video. And I went to the comments, and I was flooded with comments in this video. And it became clear to me that there wasn't a lot of information out there for this type of behavior that was happening to people. And I decided to turn it into a series. And I took those questions and put them into the appropriate videos and made a series based on different situations, depending on who your emotional vampire is. And then I made one on how to spot it in yourself, and another one on how to heal and care for yourself after dealing with one. So that's where we are now.
Well, that's awesome. And I pulled up one of the videos that you had on your channel from your series, and I just shared your X address in the chat. So anybody that would like to, if you're on X, please follow her. And she's got really good information on lots of different things on her channel. But also we do spaces and other things like that on X, which I think is very informative, depending on what you're looking for, like self-help wise, or politics, or homesteading. I mean, there's so much stuff on X that you can get information from, and alongside that, using YouTube too, to watch videos on different things that you might need to help you out in your daily life with, with your home, fixing things, emotional support, how to deal with problems that you might have, and hear stories from other people that are going through the same thing. I just think it's, it's just really good things out there for us that we didn't used to have, or our parents probably never had, at their fingertips, that you can just get on and read, listen, learn things you probably never would have thought about now because of what's out there for us, with the internet. So thank you for joining me, though. And just let me know when you're ready for me to start the video, and we'll listen to it. And tell me when you want to pause it, if there's anything you want to talk about that you're already talked about, on your video, but explain it to the people that might be watching this video later about, what you meant when you were talking about it and things like that. So I think it's great. I mean, it's really good information for people. So,
so the video that you have queued up, if I'm correct, that was the last video that I made. And I think it summed up the series in itself in a way. Out of all the videos, I have I think 8 videos. There's 8 videos in the series. And this one, I think, kind of helps maybe explain a little of why I did it. And I'm not sure. I'll let you know if there's a place I want you to stop, but I'm not sure that I just have to listen again. But okay. I did listen to them. I did listen to them all throughout the week when we were talking about doing this. And I chose this one because I feel like it explains the series the best. And then after we listen to this one, I'll also let you know what my favorite one is. So if someone wants to go listen to it, they can.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and cue it up and get it. So I got it turned up, and I'm going to push play. So here we go.
This is another video in the series of the Emotional Vampire series. It came to my attention in several different ways that I needed to make yet another video in this series. Some comments left on the video series made me aware that there are some emotional vampires out there who are turning the tables and seeing it themselves as they suck more energy from their prey via my videos. I also received a few disturbing personal mails about EV partners who used my video series to make their point to their victims and therefore turning the tables on them. The video in the series is going to be entitled, How to Spot the EV in You. This is in fact for the EVs who are the predator and not the victim, and don't know how to spot the EV within them. Several different ways come to mind, one of them being how you react to things. How do you react to the general world around you when you hear a story or read about an atrocity that is just too horrific for most people to comprehend? Do you run with it? Is it all you talk about for days in a melodramatic way? Do you have the ability to empathize with the victim or victims? You might be one of those who say, I know how that person's feeling because when I went through this, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And you tend to forget that this story that you heard isn't about you. That's one of the first things that come to mind. Or do you incorporate the story and make it your own, and you aren't the one who really went through that at all? So how you react to things that you hear might be a good way of spotting whether you're an emotional vampire or not. Generally, you're trying to extract sympathy for the experiences that you've been through. Or do you become angry about the story that you heard? You are outraged that this story is getting attention, and yet you went through the same thing and no one seemed to care. Does it make you feel indignant? Are you demanding that people recognize that you've been through the same thing and that you have pain too? That's another EV tactic. So our responses can say a lot about who we are and what we try and gain from other people. So that's just some examples of how an EV responds to tragic information. It's a failure to notice that they are not the victim in the story that is on your table at that time. Emotional vampires tend to keep scorecards. They tally up what others have done for them and what they have done for others, and generally come out with no one does anything for them. Do you dwell on the fact that you did, that if you died, no one would miss you or even care that you were dead? It's a common statement made by EVs. If I died, no one would ever even notice. If you use that line, you most likely are an EV. And you need to start changing the way you interact with people and stop using other people's energy to survive. You often scheme and plot ways to make those around you prove that you are loved. You pretend to be sick. You ask your partner over and over if they die for you. You expect your partner to back you up no matter what you say or do, even if you're wrong. Unconditional love, my dears, is one thing, but loss of personal identity and thought is totally another. A loving partner can express their thoughts that are different from yours without being accused of not loving you. And in a loving relationship, it's okay that you both think completely differently as long as you accept that the other person has different feelings. To try and beat and berate your partner into having the same opinion as yours is nothing more than having a black and white, wrong or right situation. And that's not what relationships are about. Do you need there to be a clear right and wrong, a clear winner and loser? You need to ask yourself that. And then ask yourself, are you an EV? Because that is an EV move. Emotional vampires can't handle constructive criticism at all. They cannot see that there's still a good person inside there if they're wrong. So their ideology always has to be perfect, and they will fight to the bitter end to show you why their perspective is the correct perspective. If you can't handle constructive criticism, you just might be an EV. So you bring other people into it. Emotional vampires often say, well, so-and-so and so-and-so or the rest of the world or all these people would also agree with me. If you have a valid and strong point and it's your opinion, standing on your own 2 feet without having to have others back you up is a healthy way of expressing your opinion. If you need to have proof for everything, then you might consider your possibility that you are an EV. My hope in making this video is that those who are an EV and don't recognize it find the peace they're searching for and find the serenity that they so need, and letting the pain go and realizing that we're not perfect. We're human beings. It's okay for us to be wrong. It just as it's okay for others to be right. The support I've received on the EV series has been just fantastic, and I thank you all very much. I see a lot of comments that are left that tell me that there are many EVs who have watched the series as well. In general, I can't thank you enough for your support. I'm not a licensed clinical psychologist, and I'm just an empath who feels the pain that people are experiencing. And it's my sincerest wish, whether you're an EV or not, that you live in a peaceful and comfortable world, and that you create the space that you need to do that. Remember that we are not in control of the events that happen in life, but we are in control in how we respond to them. Until again, thank you, YouTube. My love to all. Have a good day.
Find out what life is like.
Well, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was more the comments that I got and some of the emails that I had received. Because my email address is located in all of my videos, and it's still the same address. And those comments and some of those emails were shocking at how many EVs were watching my series and not recognizing that they were actually the EV. And you could see it in the comment. I was like, how could you not see that you're the EV here? You're in my comments trying to convince me of something I've just pointed out is what an EV does. And that just kind of shocked me that I had so many of them that were watching my videos. And so I made that as kind of an awareness. And I do stand behind, I think that one statement that I made at the end is very much the most important foundation in recovering if you are an EV. And that is knowing that you do not have control of situations. You really only have control on how you react to them. When you're driving down the road and you witness an accident, you have no control over that. How you react when you witness that accident is a completely different thing. You have control over that. And I know people say, think it and it will become it and everything, but that could be true, but also it's just going to happen. Bad things just happen. And people need to be able to know how they respond to that. So that was kind of why I made that video.
Yeah, I was thinking about something when what you were just saying is that a lot of serial killers inject themselves in the case that they feel is following them. So not just because they're trying to find out whether or not they're getting close to finding them, they want to see how stupid the cops are to prove themselves to be superior. Because I'm very into all that type of stuff, the psychological stuff that goes along with it. And narcissists do that. They're constantly wanting to know what people think about what they're doing, what about their job or their personality, and why people are interested in them. And when they're not interested, they interject themselves into something to be part of whatever's going on so that they are a part of it. You see what I mean? To try to put themselves in the middle of whatever's going on. And you can see that in a lot of relationships, especially like, let's say the wife ends up, or the girlfriend has a more popular job, gets more phone calls, more people are wanting to take them out to lunch, things like that, that the person will try to make the other person that's got the better job or more interesting job feel like you'd rather have lunch with them than with me. You see what I mean? And try to put a guilt trip on them, even though it has something to do with their livelihood and not just because they're doing it for fun. You see what I mean?
Exactly.
So, and they're really good at it. They're really good at making you feel like you're the one that's always wrong.
They absolutely are fantastic at that. the narcissist EV is the most cunning of all the EVs, because they're the most aware of what they're doing. They think they're the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
And they also believe that there's no way you could pull the wool over their eyes because they're too smart for that. And all this, the little things that get them caught are the things they swore was another stupid person for doing. I would never have taken my cell phone, but what do? They turn it off and think that's going to work. Or, they're very narcissistic. Absolutely. And the other, I think, on the other spectrum of an EV, the type of EV that I had to recover from being was a victim EV, because I had a lot of negative things that happened throughout my life. And so as a child, I was continuously put into situations that made me a victim. Very much different types of abuse that took place. And so I learned very young how to be a victim. And as you get older, and you see the way that people respond to it, and being an empath, it was really hard for me to separate whose emotions were whose. And so I was displaying quite a lot of different emotions, but being a victim allowed me to prey on the people who were, oh, you poor thing, and then being that victim entitled me to something, or and what a horrible friend.
Isn't it the attention that you get when
Very
you're the
much.
victim? So
Very much.
each one of these ones that I brought up, each one of these different emotional vampires using emotions from others to fulfill their need, their hole in them, right? So each of them have a different need. So that's why they fit into a certain realm. They could be two of these, or at one time they're this, and then one time they're the other. Because it says, like right here, it says the motto is me first. Everything is all about them. This is the narcissist. They have a grandiose sense of self-importance and entitlement. They hog the attention and crave, everyone to look up to them and to see how wonderful I am, because they may have had a mother or a father or a grandparent or whatever that constantly told them, oh, you're the best, you're the perfect, you're the most fabulous person that ever was. No one can compete with you, constantly stroking their ego. So by the time they grow up, they don't understand when a person doesn't do that to them, and they hate them. They start to hate them and want to hurt them, emotionally. They'll lie behind their back. They'll set them up for failure, do all these different things to bring them down where they feel they belong, because I should be above them. See? So they're very underhanded, and they do a lot of sneaky things. And then when you said the victim, that's right here, number 2, these vampires grate on you with their poor me. They're never, it's like, oh, they're never happy. They're always sad. So whenever you're around them, you just feel depressed when you leave, because you feel like they've drained your happiness from you, because all they've done is complain about how horrible their life is. They never smile. They're just always sickly, or they're sad because they don't have any money, or they're in a bad relationship, just constantly draining you with that. So when you are with any of these people, how to protect yourself. And then you got the controller. That's another one that I was going to bring up, is a person that tries to control every aspect of everything going on around them, because no one's good enough. It's a lot like a narcissist. I mean, they have a little bit different tendencies, but this is somebody that is used to controlling everything. And they always want to be like the deacon at the church, or different positions like that, the dog catcher. The scary thing about that one is the fact that the BTK killer, he was a narcissist, but he was also a controller, where he felt like he had to have the boss job at wherever he was involved. Even when he was in his church, he had to have the job where he controlled who did what jobs and things like that. So there's just a lot of information out there that will help you, but it takes a while because you also have to work on yourself. Because how are you supposed to protect yourself from the victim or from the narcissist or the person that's trying to control you if you don't know the signs of it? And you might be playing right into it because your personality, like you were saying, you're an empath, which means that you feel other people's pain and that you want to help them immediately. It's like you see the puppy and you want to bring it in and you want to make it warm and make sure its tummy's full, and you want to do all these things for it. So you're easily drawn in by narcissists because you're the perfect supply that a narcissist needs, because you constantly want to help them, and make yourself feel good because you are helping them. See, so it's scary, the whole situation, when you think about it.
Well, that's what led me to making the videos, was because it really was eye-opening for me and learning all about this.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the videos that I have, I said I'd tell you what my favorite video is, and I think my favorite video is called The Dance. And in that video, I explain why you're participating, what you're getting out of it. Because there can't be an EV sucking your energy if you're not allowing it in some form of way. And you're absolutely right, Janet. People need to find why. Why am I allowing this? And that video kind of is just a beginning video on where to start and understanding why. And I call it The Dance because it is kind of a dance that people have and do. And you just got to get to the point where you're dancing solo because it's exhausting. It really is exhausting. And there are people who have several of these in their life, and I couldn't even imagine at this point. But I'm sure at some point in my life, I'm sure I had them and I was them. So it was, yeah, I can't. I wish there was a way for me to convey how different, like night and day, life is when you become aware of your relationship with others and what you're giving and you're getting, and how it can change everything and make life so much more rewarding.
Yeah, it can, because there are. I have sat and listened to lots of different relationships, like couples talking about different things that's going on, and they play off each other really well, because the longer you're with someone, the more you understand where they're coming from, especially if you love each other and you're working together on your relationship, because they understand that the one is sad. So they'll go and they'll put their arm around them and tell them that they love them. And I'm not saying they're doing it just in public. I'm talking about couples that make it 50 years, there's something there for them to make it that long. You see what I mean? It's today's world, though. I've met people that have been married 4 times and they're 40. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, why do you keep getting married? You think they would learn after the first mistake that why would you leave a bad relationship and go right into another relationship when you haven't even had a chance to recoup from the one you just lost or the one that was broken. And that's part of the problem, I feel, is that a person feels like they messed up really bad or whatever, or they're lonely, they have a lot of problems, and they immediately jump into another relationship, and then they wonder why it doesn't work. You know what I mean? They don't give themselves time to find out who they are again, to be back to the person they were before they were in the other relationship with the other person, and love themselves again. Look in the mirror and like what they see. I'm not talking about appearance. I'm talking about the feelings that you have for yourself. You love what you do, who you are, what you're here for, what is your purpose in life, that type of thing. find yourself again, and then use that to find the right person to fit into your life this time, to try not to make the same mistake and end up with someone who's just going to suck you dry and then spit you out and leave you on the side of the road again, to where you have to pick yourself up and maybe get into another bad relationship. And I wish more people would do that with themselves, because we're each individual's unique. There's not another person like you anywhere in the billions of people in the world. Your DNA's prove that, basically. So God has made all of us each our own individual soul. Okay. We're not like another person at all on this planet. So we deserve love, and we have to love ourselves to be able to love others. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that when you hate yourself, oh, I'm so stupid. And I've done this to myself, just like what you said. We have to find out what do we need to work on, our emotional vampire. And mine is I degrade myself, because my life, I've been told I'm never going to be good enough. You're not very smart. You're not pretty. You're not a lot of different things, because I had two blonde sisters that were built like brick houses, and I was tall and skinny. You know, I didn't even start getting a figure until I was almost 30. So it's like, it's just weird, you know, how we're all made basically with the same substance, right? We're all bleed, we all have skin, but we all have different shapes and sizes, which also means we have different feelings. You know, we have different ways of reacting to things that happen to us. And when we're hurt, some of us cry and just want to be by ourselves, and others get angry and want to, you know, punch somebody's lights out. You know, we all act differently. Even if you have 5 sisters, like I have 4 sisters, and we're all raised in the same house by the same parents, and we all are different. We all react differently to things. Everything about us is different. We're similar in some areas, but we're all different people. So you have to be nice to yourself and help yourself heal and learn what's best for you and what makes you happy before you can do that for other people. And what's really sad is that so many people just say, I hate my house, I hate living here, and they just jump into a relationship so they can get moved out. Okay. And how do you expect that relationship to last? And what's really sad is you jumped into a relationship because you wanted out of the situation you were in before. And the person that you were with or wanting to join in this new relationship, they are taking you totally serious, thinking that you really love them. But all along, you don't really love them. You're just using them as an escape. So you're hurting other people because you're using them to get something you want, instead of telling them the truth that I really just want out of my house and you're my escape, you know. But people don't want to do that. So I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you've met many people in those different scenarios, and I'm sure they've talked to you on your page, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My videos have a lot of comments, and different videos have different amount of comments. I did go through some of those for the first time in a long time too. And it did make me feel warm, because if nothing less, I know I've helped some people with that series. And it reminded me of me and my husband, and the plight of what we had to come through. And we've been together for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
We just celebrated our 27th wedding anniversary. And we have what we call our first marriage and our second marriage, because he married an emotional vampire, and he was one himself in different ways. He was broken from his first marriage, and our story is long and complicated. And all I can say is, when we did separate, neither one of us had any intention of getting back together with the other. But one thing we both ended up doing was going out and working on ourselves. And I think what you said is very important to that. I would look in a mirror. I completely understand what you mean. It's called mirror therapy. And I would look in a mirror and I hated everything I saw, from inside to outside. And I would sit in front of that mirror for an hour a day as the therapy that I was going through, trying to find one thing I liked about the reflection staring back. And it took me quite a while, but I finally found one thing. And it was on that one thing that I was able to build. And I didn't know that my husband was going to a church and seeing a pastor for counseling as well. And we got back together a year and a half later, and we have had the most fantastic marriage. It is built on respect, love of each of us. We love ourselves. And it shows in our marriage. Our children are just in disbelief that these are the same people that they grew up with. And it really, I think our marriage serves as nothing's completely set in stone. Even though we think it is, we just really never know what's out there and what can come from recovery. And I even have a a video on that. So that's a part of the series too, is how to recover, caring for yourself. So these videos are just, for my videos, they're just 10-minute videos. I wanted to keep it short enough that someone got the interest without losing interest in the video, if that makes sense.
No,
And
it
so,
makes perfect sense.
right.
Because
And
people
there were
have short
so
attention spans.
right. And there were so many people who were like, well, what if it's a coworker? What if it's a friend? What if it's a family member? And I know it sounds weird, but you actually do have to react differently depending on the situation. You cannot treat them all the same. And so that's kind of what the series is. It's a breakdown of different scenarios of where you're dealing with your emotional vampire. And like I said, I'm not a clinical psychologist. These are just my thoughts and my opinions on where you can maybe branch out for help in seeking help for yourself. So
I just shared your YouTube channel link again in the chat. I'm going to do it, quite a few times. So if anybody wants to go to her channel and just go through her videos, I recommend just starting at her first video and just watching it and leaving comments for her, because she will respond if she sees a comment on there, just like I try to always respond to the comments. But the thing is, if you do it in order and each one you listen to, something's going to spark. And when that thing comes up, research it, get online, start looking up other people, that are talking about their emotional, collapse, or that they're with a narcissist, or they're with someone that's clingy, or, all the different topics that you can find when you look up emotional vampires, because these are people that drain you in a certain way, and they may really be sick. A person can become a vampire simply because they're sick. They have something wrong with them. Let's say that they were in a car accident. Okay. And you've been married 10 years, 12 years, and you got 2 kids, whatever. I'm just using an example. And they were in an accident, and now they're recouping, but they can't have marital relations, if you know what I'm saying. So on top of not being able to do that, and your spouse is trying to take care of you and the other children, right? The 2 kids that they have, and they're not getting the bedroom support, okay, anymore. And you're constantly griping at them because they're not, cooking for you enough, or they're not doing enough for you, and you need help, and you're doing rehab and whatever else, and you're sucking them dry. Okay. They're not getting the emotional support they need from you. They're not getting the sexual support, that helps your bond. Okay. Type thing. And you're also not helping with the kids because you aren't able to get around because you had an accident, or it can be an accident. It could be anything, but you're not looking at what you're doing to the other person. You're pushing them away from you. See what I mean? You're pushing them to have to go to others to get the support they need. They're not getting from you. that type of thing. So even though you are a victim because you are injured, you're also using your victimhood to tear up the other person that loves you and is trying to do everything they can in the household to make it so that you can get better and get back on the good and narrow. But you can't repair the damage you've left behind if you ignore that it's even there. You know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying about that? And have you had people that came to your channel and talk about any of those type of things, scenarios?
Absolutely. I see it in my daily life. You were describing my mother-in-law in many ways. In that and in the remarriages. She's on, so I know all three of the husbands that she's had. And this poor woman has been a lifetime of misery just by her choice and spouses. And each one has been a 20-year marriage. And the just the amount of the dance that takes place in these marriages is it's hard. It's hard for my husband to watch, especially because that's his mom. And so when he watches the abusive behavior of his stepfather towards his mom, it becomes very hard for him. And I told him, you have, how you respond is all that you have. And just show her support, but you have to understand that she's getting something out of this because she's chosen the same type of person 3 times in a row and has lived in these tumultuous marriages. And for reasons I don't understand, only she knows what's broken inside of her. But I completely get it. And yes, I have, there are definitely messages you'll see. If you read through the comments, you'll see people ask me about situations they're in. I did address some publicly. There's some people who were TMI, and I took theirs private. It just depends. There's a lot of messages I noticed.
You want to know when the relationship is true?
Oops, sorry. I was
That's
trying
okay.
to see up a video I want to share. Darn it. That I shared on my channel to try to help people. And I've had a lot of people not really posting underneath the video or anything like that, but sending me personal emails because I have my email on my account and stuff. There, I have 3 or 4 ones that are very, I think, poignant to the point. Not so much about emotional vampires, but of where you are in your relationship and what you need to do something about it. Because either you choose to live in the situation that you're in, whether you're the vampire or not, okay? But and you're not happy, but everything you think you've done isn't working. Do you just stay in it? Because it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better if both of you are not working on it. It's just not going to go anywhere. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And that's why we see a rise in divorce. For one, we see a rise in alcoholism, drug abuse, spousal abuse. There's just so much bad stuff like that, especially since COVID. During COVID, a lot of couples were forced to stay home with each other. They didn't have an outlet, and they realized the person they were with wasn't what they thought they were, because now they didn't go out away from each other to do other things. They were forced to see each other on a daily basis and be in the same environment constantly. And they realized, this isn't who I thought I was married to, that type of thing. So the rise in divorce went up, and the rise in alcoholism, drug addiction, sex addiction, all these different things that sprout from being, depressed or angry. You got all these different emotions that come out. And I play videos like this one I want to present with everyone to see, because it does make you think about it. If you watch something like this and you actually listen to it, and then you sit back and think about it, am I in that scenario? Is that me? And if I am, what do I do? And then that's the person that's going to start looking for channels like yours and watching your videos and seeing what people are saying to see whether or not am I going in the right direction, or do I need to step back and make some changes for myself, and which direction should I go? Because once you realize you're not by yourself, that there's hundreds of thousands of other people that feel exactly like you, it's easier on you, whether you want to believe it or not, because now you actually have people that you can talk to, and find out what they've done to change your life. And reading the comments, like on your channel, because I was looking at some, because you have quite a few views on some of the videos and lots of comments. And the reason they comment is because they were touched by something that you spoke about in your video. And that means you've made an impact on other people's lives. And you should be happy about that. I mean, you should feel good that you took something that you had that you felt was a problem with yourself, and you reached out, you made a video, and now it's affecting other people. See, that's a good thing. I mean, that is a healing part on yourself. And that's something you can go, check, I like that about myself. So you have something to say, I did that, because you did it. No one made you do it. You did it yourself. You made that decision, and that's a win. Okay. And a lot of people don't realize, wow, I did do that. I did help people, and I am helping people still, because people are still watching my videos, and they're still reading the comments of other people's reaction to my video. And to me, that's a huge win, because anytime you give of yourself and it helps other people improve their own lives, to me, that's at the top of the list, because you don't even know these people. You're helping total strangers. But I want to share this video real quick, and I want to get what you think about this video, what you feel about it. So let me open it. Sorry, it takes me a little bit to figure out which one do I need to click on or whatever. But let me get this and show it to you. Okay, I called this video, "When Should You Leave?" Okay, because a lot of people don't. They just hang on thinking that one day it's going to get better, and it doesn't. It's just the same thing. And how many years have to go by before you realize that nothing's going to change, because you're doing it by yourself? So because you could be the victim of an emotional vampire. You see what I mean? So here we go. I'm going to play this for you.
You want to know when the relationship is truly over, and you have to accept it? Is the moment you live with somebody that is your husband, that is your partner, and it feels like you both are roommates. You've expressed your feelings many times, and yet there is no change. They just brush you off. And now you're sitting there hoping that they will change. You are sitting there hoping that your partner will come back to reality and love you the way they did. I want to let you know that your partner has checked out a long time ago. You have waited 5, 10 years praying that they're going to change. Sweetheart, you shouldn't even wait longer than a day for somebody to change if they truly love you. But putting 5 to 10 years thinking that they're going to change, I'm sorry to break it to you. Your marriage is done. The only thing you need to do is walk out and realize to love yourself and find somebody that will love you better than he did, better than your own husband or wife did. I know this hurts, but you have to accept the reality that one person has quit while the other one is fighting. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That to me was really important, because so many people are trapped thinking that one more day, tomorrow, it's going to be better. And it's not. It's never better. I've seen so many relationships in that exact scenario. And I say, well, how long has it been since you had sex? 10 years. And then they wonder why people have affairs,
Exactly.
It's sad.
Exactly. I think that video in most ways is definitely dead on. I have a different way of expressing when it's over.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I say this because, me and my husband did separate. We did plan on divorcing each other.
Mm-hmm.
We had no plans of getting back together. So, a year and a half later to be back together was was shocking to us and everyone if you knew the story behind our marriage. But I think it's over when this is part of my healing of not being an emotional vampire anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Part of my healing was when I didn't have any emotion left attached to it. So when I was able to detach the emotions that I had to the bad events of my life and accept that all of this led up to who I am, and to love that little girl that it happened to, and accept all that. Once there was no emotion attached to it anymore, it was settled. It was done. It was over. And for example, my mother and me, my adopted mom and me, have not talked in almost 26 years. 26, 27 years. I have no emotional attachment to that. It's just what it is. And I'm okay with it. I'm the one that instituted a no contact. And I think that in some people's lives, no contact is an absolute necessity. And I do believe I talk about that in some of my videos as well. Because an emotional vampire doesn't change unless they want to. And so when one is draining you, if they're not willing to work, they're never going to. Only change can come when you choose to. And there's a reason, there's a proverb, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, because it's absolutely true. So
Yeah.
to sum it up, I guess, for me, it's over when you're indifferent towards your spouse. When you're not, you have to care about someone to be angry, and you have to care about someone to love them. But to be
Mm-hmm.
indifferent means you just don't care anymore. And
Well,
that's
see,
when
that's
it's
basically
over.
what he was saying, that you, the person that he was talking to, was still fighting, trying to find out what was missing and what they had to do to fix themselves to get the other one to love them already. But then he was trying to get the person he was talking to understand that the other person's already checked out. If you've gone
Exactly.
2 years and they haven't responded to all the things that you've done, that person is not even in your relationship anymore. They don't love you. They've moved on emotionally, and you have to let go and realize that there isn't anything. See, there's nothing left. They might be in the same house with you, but now you're roommates. Basically, he's looking at you as just this cup. It's
Oh
just
no,
in
yeah,
the
no, I
house.
get it. I get it. I just I always just feel that absolutely you are in a dead end. But I often wonder, that person, the other person they're talking about, your spouse, what are they getting out of being emotionally checked out from why
Well, I
haven't
was
they?
trying to find this other video that I have. It's about being unemotionally committed. There's no they don't commit. They have no emotions. It's their like what is that word? I'm trying to remember the word so I can find the video, but it's a person who doesn't share
I know
emotion.
what you mean, and I
I
can't
can't
think of it
remember what the
either.
terminology is. I'm trying to find it so bad. I'm so sorry.
You're
But
good. You're good.
it's I just cannot remember what it's called. I just can't. I wish I could remember it, but
One of the other things that we didn't talk about that I think is important for people to
Mhm.
understand is constructive criticism was probably one of the hardest things for me to take. It was because being when you're abused and like you were told you weren't worthy and you weren't, and so it instantly made me defensive.
Mhm.
And I think that that we live in a time where constructive criticism is something that people aren't even allowed to do anymore. I mean, it's just not PC or whatever. You're not allowed to speak what's obviously blatantly the truth, and it doesn't get received well. And I think that's an important thing to look at when you're looking at yourself. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, that's another thing that I say is that if more people would take the time they need to heal from the damage that happened to them in the other relationship, even if it was just dating, you fell head over heels for someone, and then all of a sudden you realize that they just used you the whole time because they were trying to use you to get someone jealous or whatever it was, whatever the reason why they didn't love you, but you fell in love with them, and now they're not there anymore, and now you are devastated because you're like, what's wrong with me? Am I ugly? Is it because I'm too heavy? What's wrong with me? So you think that no one else is going to be attracted to you if they aren't even. See, so you need to fix yourself and love who you are again and become you to help you recover so that you can move on with your life, so that you can be available, emotionally unavailable. That's what I was looking for. And there are people that have that. That's what it's called. That's the terminology. They are, for whatever reason, they don't share emotion. They don't look at things. I found it, but it's on X. So let me open this one up real quick. So give me 1 second. It's on, I posted it on X. I didn't post it on anything else. That was the only platform that I put it on, I think. That's why I couldn't find it. And it's to help people, because I'm one of those people that believes that, you need to heal, that people have to take the time for themselves to recoup from the damage they went through. Because if you don't, the next relationship you have isn't going to work because you are taking your damaged self into another relationship, and then you're going to just add on to it. You're not ready to share again with another and open fully if you're all broken. You know what I mean? And that's why I try to get people to realize that there's nothing wrong with that, that you got damaged. It's the fact that you need to heal so you don't damage someone else that ends up falling for you. And it's not really you. They fall for the damaged you. You see what I mean? So it keeps going on and on and on because you're passing on a person that isn't you. And then all of a sudden you become you, and the other person doesn't recognize you because you went into a relationship when you shouldn't have. You should have waited until you were fully recovered so that you could be the real you. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone, but
Well, it totally
I'm
makes
not a
sense to
professional
me.
either. I'm just a person.
Well, it totally makes sense to me because that's my marriage 1 and my marriage 2. So I was damaged going into my marriage, but I, by the grace of God and by a lot of hard work on both of us, not just me, him too, really made for,
An available person creates a big.
Okay, so
I want everyone to have a marriage as wonderful as mine. I wish that for everyone.
Yeah, so do I. I wish everyone could have true love and be with a partner that loves the same things as they do, so you can go do things together and enjoy being in the same room together, even when you're doing nothing. Let's say you're just sitting there watching TV, but you enjoy looking to your right or your left, and the most important person in your life is sitting there. That you have that opportunity, because so many people will never have that. I don't know. I just can't explain any difference in that. But this is one of the videos. I've got one other after this one too that I think makes a difference. But this is a person that's explaining to you, and now they say boyfriend or girlfriend, but it's in any relationship. It could be your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your grandparent. You have to be able to open your horizons to understand that this can be any person in your life if they hurt you, and they're never there. They never, it could be anyone, but it's a personal relationship. So can you see that? Okay, I'm gonna play it for you so you can hear it. Okay, here we go. Turn it up.
3 signs you're dating somebody emotionally unavailable. Emotional availability is a coping mechanism. The emotionally unavailable person creates a barrier to intimacy. They build protective walls between their feelings and the person that they're seeing to protect themselves. It could be from a multitude of things. It could be in childhood they had emotionally unavailable parents. Dramatic dating experiences where they have a fear of intimacy and they don't really trust other people and they don't want to get hurt. They could have grown up in a house where emotions were seen as weakness. Whatever it is, this person is trying to protect themselves from getting hurt. So the first sign is you always feel like you have to be perfect in order to keep them interested. Anytime you express your needs, this person might walk away or tell you that they don't want to have the same thing that you do. So you walk on eggshells hoping that if you're just perfect, they're eventually going to choose you. 2, you feel like you're climbing a mountain every time you try to get closer to them. Most unavailable people are disconnected from their own emotions, so it's going to take you quite a feat to even get them to open up to theirs. And 3, they become uncomfortable when you express your emotions or anything that has to do with commitment or what are we in the relationship. Don't try to change them.
Don't try to change them. Don't waste your time with that person, because you'll be spending a lot of time with someone who's never, ever going to be what you want them to be or look at you the way you think that you want them to, because they can't. They're emotionally unavailable. And all you're going to do is hurt yourself over and over and over again, trying to be something that you're never going to be. Okay. So the more you understand these different characteristics of people, you'll know faster to be able to get out of that relationship, because it's not good for you. It's not going to help you. It's just going to emotionally drain you. And if you're emotionally drained at home every day, how are you going to keep going to work, and providing for the rest of your family, your kids, or your home, your vehicle, your pets, whatever it is that's going on in your home? If you're emotionally drained every day and you're not sleeping and you're sick to your stomach because you just don't want to go home because you know it's waiting for you, it's time to get out of it. If that person is not willing to go to counseling, make changes in their life to help you, to be there supportive of you, then it's a one-sided relationship, so it keeps going back and forth, and you're draining yourself trying to fulfill the needs of the other person that is never going to fulfill your needs. And so the more you know about it, the faster you can get out of that relationship, because it's not going to get better. And all of us need to work on ourselves on a daily basis, because I try to do that. I constantly try to make sure that I learn from something that something that happened today. I made the wrong choice in something, and I tell myself, okay, tomorrow I'm going to work a little harder to try not to make that same mistake tomorrow, and hopefully I'll get better at whatever it is that you're trying to do. And if we all do that and realize that nobody's perfect, like what you were saying, and work on ourselves. I'm not saying that you have to push down on yourself on a daily basis. I'm talking about trying to just improve yourself. Say, well, I'm going to try not to do that same thing over and over again and break the cycle, basically. And if you can do that, then as long as you're improving, then what's wrong with expecting the new person in your life, to want to be better too? So work on it together. Go to the gym together. Go on hikes together. Go on walks together. There's lots of things, or eat a salad together, make choices that you both can do together as a couple, but you're improving yourselves, little things like that. Just something that it's just your time, and your time should be worth more than anything, because that's giving of yourself. And how much does that prove to someone that you love them unconditionally when you're giving of yourself to another person? You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's a keystone to a relationship. And you're absolutely right. And the faster you can spot it, then the faster you can get out. And the most important way of being able to do that is just understanding why you participate. And once you can figure that out, once you figure out what you're getting from it, whatever it is, there's something that keeps you there. And once you can spot what it is and you can fix that, you can move on, and the next time if it happens, you might spot it faster and faster until you just walk by it. It's no longer something you let in your life anymore.
Yeah, I get messages, DMs from my different platforms, like Instagram, my TikTok, my Snapchat, my, whatever I'm on, right? And X. And I get to some of the sickest crap from people, and I'll block them, or, you know, whatever I can do. Or I tell them, please never send me that kind of stuff again. I don't appreciate that. And people say, well, why do you even have your DMs open? Just close your DMs. And I'm like, because I've met many, many great people because I have access to where they can talk to me. And how am I supposed to get information for the different shows that I do, crafting or gaming or any of the things, if I don't talk to anyone? If you're on here, but you're not speaking to anyone or meeting new people, why are you on it? So I don't know. I like to have my DMs open, and yeah, I do get a few nut jobs, but most of the people are great people. And I've met so many awesome, wonderful people simply because I take a little more time to read DMs and reply to people, because I do want to get to know people. Because to me, my life's richer because I do have a really good collection of so many people, and I've learned so much from others simply because I'm willing to listen to them, and I looked at it as a good thing, that I'm lucky to live in this day and age where I can talk to people from Australia, from Ukraine, or from England, Africa. I mean, just all over the world. And I'm lucky to have that. But not a lot of people understand that it takes a little effort to make friends. You can't just all of a sudden have friends fall in your lap. You got to have something that's in common with these people to start off a actual conversation in the first place. So just like in real life. But a lot of people, it seems like they substitute real life with X or with Instagram, right? Or with, any of these other apps, because they're on those and they're talking to people. So they don't go out to the bowling alley or to the movie theater or to a restaurant or to the park, and actually meet real people anymore.
Well,
they've given up on that.
I think that's a huge portion of a problem that we see in communities now is social awkwardness, because everything is done almost, it seems, electronically. You can order food and never talk to a human being, have it delivered to your home, and have never spoken to a human being. And yet you're expecting, through nothing more than written text, you're expecting what you ordered to come to you with no hiccups or nothing. You've never spoken to someone. And that's a tall order in itself. And yes, they have all the little options. Do you want extra mayo on it or whatever? But the bottom line is, you can't interpret text. Like, if I wanted to tell them I just wanted half of it to have mayonnaise on it, there's no place for that. You would have to call that in. That has to be something. And I think when people text things to people, or people talk through the written language, the most important thing, the emotion of what's behind our thoughts, our words or something, those get mixed up and it doesn't come across the same way. And so I think when you're dating over the internet, I hear swipe right. I've never used any of those dating apps, but I think how impersonal that must be. And how do you gauge someone's intentions based on just a written word? No body language involved. Sarcasm definitely doesn't go over very well in the written word because that requires body language for people to understand it's sarcasm.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that there's a lot of social awkwardness that goes on. And I think a lot more vampires being created. We just live in a really entitled world now. And it's a rough one to navigate sometimes.
Yeah, it is. But the more we are willing to listen to other people that might be going through something, your friend, your sister, your uncle, someone you work with, we can help each other by just listening to another person that's going through something, and give of ourselves because of our time. Just like I said, to me, listening to someone, or just giving someone a hug, because you really can't fix it for them. Any person that comes to you, and I've talked to lots of guys about this because I have a lot of guy friends because I'm a tomboy or whatever. But I'll tell them, just because your wife tells you, something bad that happened to her at work, or with one of her friends, or her sister, or her mom, she doesn't expect you to get up off the couch and go beat the crap out of someone. She doesn't expect you to go and fix it for her. She just wants you to listen to her so you understand that why she had a bad day or whatever. You don't have to fix it. You just tell her you love her and that you're sorry that she had a bad day, and that hopefully tomorrow you can make up and it'll be better. Just something that simple. It's all she wants. Is a good hug from you, maybe a kiss. Maybe you could pour her a glass of wine or something like that. And that's how you're going to make a difference. But the fact that you spent 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes listening to what she had to say and responding, instead of getting upset because you think, I can't fix that. Why are you telling me? What can I do about it? Instead of having that attitude, and instead say, I understand, honey, and I'm really sorry that they treated you that way at work, or whatever happened, right? To understand that you are helping just by listening to her. And the same for the husband. If the husband's talking to the wife needs to also understand that she knows she can't fix it, but that he just wants to tell you about it. You're his wife. You're supposed to be partners in life, and you two should be the ones that can actually talk about anything and still love the other one. Still be there for them. And if more people could just try to do that, I think we'd have a lot more rock steady relationships out there. Because
Absolutely.
What was it that attracted you to that person in the first place? Try to see that on a daily basis. Try to remember that the first time he smiled at you, or the first time he handed you a flower he picked out of the yard. Little things like that is what makes us who we are, and why we fell in love in the first place. What was it? That thing. Try to focus on the good parts of the person, and remember that's why we're together, because he was the first person that did this, or she was the first person that did that, and they make my chicken fried steak better than anyone else. Any of these things that's going to help you treat the relationship a little better, and take a few minutes and say, okay, I got to calm down. What they did really hurt my feelings or made me mad, but I'm going to go in there and I'm going to ask them, why did you want to hurt me? Be honest with each other, talk to each other, and be on each other's level. Look each other in the eye, and be there for each other. I think if more of us would do that, we would all be happier, because we're all getting the emotional support that we need. And that's what love is, isn't it? It's accepting and being there for someone that you thought you might spend the rest of your life with.
Absolutely. And men are natural fixers. That is
Mhm.
something that they naturally feel they have to do. And my husband had a hard time understanding when I wanted him to fix it and when I didn't. And um, after butting heads a few times, we both agreed that when either one of us go to the other and we say, "Hey, can we sit down and just connect and talk?" And we'll ask the other one, "Do you want me to fix it?" And they'll say yes or no. And if it's no, then we're there to listen. If they want us to fix it, we're there to listen, and we know we're supposed to go fix it. And that left no room for debate for him. He knew each time which husband I needed, the supportive listening husband or the one that was the man of the house and he needed to fix this problem. And he knew which hat needed to be put on. And that kind of respect is invaluable for me when looking at him as a partner. Um, it just makes me love him more.
Yeah, and that's another thing is that a lot of men look at the relationship that I'm doing my part because we have a roof over our head. Okay. And they think that's all they have to do. They don't have to help raise the kids or clean the house or doing these other things, even though it's helping support the wife and maybe helping support the kids. They feel, some men actually believe that because they go to work every day, that that's enough, that they're putting a roof over her head and I'm doing my part. But going in the kitchen and seeing her cooking or doing the dishes or mopping or whatever else and telling her, honey, I really just want you to know, I think you're a wonderful mom, a wonderful wife, and a great housekeeper. Be appreciative, and make sure that you tell each other how much you appreciate having clean underwear in your drawer, little things. And I call it the job that no one sees because, dusting, mopping, the laundry, the grocery shopping, the refrigerator being cleaned out, the dishes being washed, all those things. Do husbands come home and tell their wives, wow, this house looks great? And the wife should also say, I'm so thankful that you go to work and you work so hard and you come home and you mow the yard, and be appreciative of each other. Just tell each other that you are happy that you're married to them because they're wonderful. They're good. Make sure you let them know that you're thankful for what they do for you. That's another thing that we don't do. We don't take time out of our schedules to let people know how much we appreciate what they do. Like when your child comes home from school and they colored a picture for you of you and your husband, and you hang it on the fridge, right? And you hang it on the fridge because that's like a badge of honor to a kid. Wow, they loved it so much. They want everyone to see it, okay? Because you're appreciative that they loved you enough to even take the time to draw the picture. What's wrong with us doing that with our spouse? Give them the center spot on the refrigerator by leaving a note on there that says, I love you. This little things like that. I wish more of us could do that for people because I think that's another thing that we don't do enough of is recognition. Recognizing what the other person has been doing for a certain amount of time to support the family, but even if it's just washing dishes, that's still something. You're doing something that you're not having to hire someone to come in and do it. So there's a lot of things that we don't realize that we do for others until someone reminds us or they tell us thank you. Then we realize, yeah, I did do that, didn't I? But just like I recognize that you, just by having your YouTube channel and the things that you talked about and the responses that you receive, that you are helping people, even though you're not personally speaking to them yourself, by them watching your videos and going, wow, I'm so glad I watched all these because it's really helped me dodge a few bullets. You know what I mean? So that should make you really, really happy to know that you have helped people and you've made a difference in people's lives simply because of the choices that you made in your life to and deciding to make videos about it. See, so you have helped people, and you should be proud of that, because a lot of people don't have that in them to do what we're doing right now, just to share experiences that we've had ourselves to help someone else that we may never meet. And just because they listened to what you had to say, they made changes in their own life, and now they're better off. You know what I mean? And I just want to say thank you to you, because you did sacrifice a little of yourself for someone you're never going to meet.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I am proud of the series. And it's the reason that my YouTube channel stayed up.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't just pull it down, even though I'm not active on it as much as I watch a lot of videos, but I don't
Yeah.
make so much anymore. But I have other videos that I've done on there that were inspirational videos. And I've had people who have said, you should really make more inspirational videos again. And I might, I just might. I mean, Janet's really inspired me to be creative again. And that might be something that I might consider doing. And I thank her for that, for sparking that more creative, go get kind of side that I kind of stepped away from, but for good reason. And there was something I did want to respond to. And I wanted to say great advice that you've given, Janet, and it can apply to everyday life as well. One thing, I don't leave my house a lot. I haven't driven in over 25 years because I have seizures, so I'm not supposed to drive, and so I leave the house. I do a lot of walking, so whether it's I'm out walking or I'm at the grocery store with one of my kids or my husband,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I'm consciously aware of now when I go to the grocery store is just being aware of the energy of the person around me or something. And if I see someone who I just feel compelled to say something to, I do that. Whether it's they have a unique hairstyle that's just cute and looks great on them, I just smile at them and say, I love your hair. And you can watch their energy change with just one positive message from a person
Mm-hmm.
who could have just walked by and thought to themselves, oh, their hair's really cool, but never said anything to them. And you never know, people need that positive reinforcement. And having a stranger say something that like that to you double in the feeling that it provokes, because a stranger doesn't have to say nice things. So
No.
the fact that they do, that's like a brutal honesty. And I also make it a point. So I make it a point to have done that and listen to that inner side of what I said and just made it come out verbally so that person knew that I was appreciating this about them. And the other thing, I very seldom have complained at a restaurant. You have to really be a bad food or bad hostess or bad something for me to complain.
Yeah.
But I am the first person to go find a manager when someone has gone above and beyond the call of duty. Managers listen to complaints all day long. And I can tell you, if you've never gone out of your way to find a manager and give a compliment, do it. Because when you tell them, can I speak to your manager? Everyone's like panicked. And the manager comes and they have this look of, oh,
Yeah.
I have to hear it again. And when you say, I just want to tell you that so-and-so was so fantastic and went above and beyond the call of duty, and they did this and they made my experience wonderful, and I wish you would hire. You can feel the energy change. They get a smile, and the rest of their night is positive. And I rather leave that behind than any complaint. that I don't know what's going on in someone's life. So unless it's a blatant thing you've done that I just cannot let go, I'm never going to complain about you. But I might talk to your manager and give you a compliment if you go above and beyond the call of duty. And I encourage people to try it because it really feels good on both ends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is good. I mean, I try to say hi to people and wave, because I'm, very personable anyways. Okay. But just like I was saying earlier, I try to live my life the way I feel my mother would want me to do. You know what I mean? To make my mother proud. And now that she's in heaven, she can see me all the time. So I feel like I've constantly got my mom watching me. And I think it's good. That's my way of making sure that I do the best I can all the time. I don't know if other people understand that, but my mom was the one person that inspired me on everything in my life, to be the best, daughter, best granddaughter, best wife or sister, or mom that I could be. And I do the best I can at all my jobs that I've ever done, crafting, sewing, crocheting, everything that I do. I want to try to be the very best at what I can be, because I just want my mother to be proud of me. So that's my focus on how I feel like I achieve things, because I want to make sure I do the best I can with what I have, what my mother gave me, which is who I am. So that's how I look at it. But
My inspiration is my daughter. My eldest daughter and me are best friends. In fact, I just came back from her house. She has a spare bedroom. So they call it mom's room because mom and
that's
Nana's room,
great. Yeah.
because I'm there, half the week. But my grandbaby, when I leave, she's going to be 8 this weekend. But when I leave, it's not even 48 hours before my daughter's saying, Ashlyn wants to know where Nana is, It's like, well, okay. Then I just know she wants me to come back. And it's so nice to have them. All my kids are my light. I'm so grateful that I have such a fantastic relationship with them. And it could have been so much worse had I still been the individual I was all those years ago. It could have been way worse. And I'm just so glad that I recovered. And I'm so glad that maybe I can help others recover, get out of it, whatever part of this vicious cycle that you're in that's so toxic. If I hope that I can help someone and steer them in a direction to help them start healing.
Well, I think you do. I mean, I just from talking to you and listening to you speak in spaces and in DM chats and things like that, I just think you got a good heart and a good soul, and that you're a good person. Because I feel like I'm a good judge of character, and when I meet someone that I feel like is a poser or they're full of crap, basically, I just stop talking to them. I just don't spend time with them because they're not worth my time. Because I believe my time is valuable. You know what I mean? Just like I tell people, you are valuable, and you shouldn't put up with crap that is just wasting your time. If you make an effort and you keep making an effort and you keep making an effort and you keep doing it, all you're doing is wasting time that you could be doing with someone else that deserves your time. And, I'm a firm believer in that. I believe that your time is worth something. That's why when you give it to someone you love and they give you their time, that's life. That's what we have. That's what this is all about. All the things that you look around your house that you have, when you die, you don't take any of that with you. You know what I mean? It's just stuff. But when you die, all of this, what's in here and in your soul, in your mind, that goes with you, your memories. And if you're wasting time, doing nothing, basically, it's just time that you're not going to get back. But all the things that you absorb because you spent time on something worthy of you, you get to keep that. You get to take it with you. I believe that. And that's what keeps me inspired to try to be the best I can on a daily basis, and to spend my time with people that inspire me to be the best I can be. And I try to do that. That's how I try to live my life, at least the best I can. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but because I do have bad days. I've thrown stuff and cussed, I've done a lot of things like that, just like any other person, but I try not to do it again. I say, I know I lost my temper, but I'm going to try not to do that next time, because it was just a keyboard, or it was just whatever it was, an inanimate object that I let take my valuable time from me, that kind of thing. I don't know if that makes sense to everyone, but maybe someone understands what I'm saying. Hopefully it'll help them. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining me tonight. We've been going for over an hour and a half. Normally I just do an hour show, but this had a lot of really good tidbits of information. And I think we opened a few doors for people if they actually think about it, and not realizing, the situation they may be in, or maybe the situation they've made happen simply because they were an emotional vampire themselves, draining off of someone else, and not realizing, like you said, they didn't realize that they're doing it. But then if you bring it to their attention, then they think about it and say, wow, I think I did do that, and I'm going to go apologize, or I'm going to try to make it up to them. So hopefully we help some people. And hopefully you'll get some more people coming to your channel and wanting to, watch some more of your videos and stuff. I'm gonna share your links again one more time in the chat, so that people can go to your YouTube channel and your X and follow you, because I think that it's something that a lot of people would definitely get some benefit out of. So do you think you want to say before we close for the night?
I just want to say thank you very much for having me. And no matter where you are, if you find yourself identifying with anything we've talked about, no matter what it is, there's help out there. There's information out there. There's always choices. That's what life's all about, making choices and following through with them. And like I say, how you respond, how you react. So you have that power on how you respond to what you've heard tonight. And I just hope that everyone can find peace and live without feeling like they're a sponge being drained all the time.
Yeah.
It's no fun feeling that way. But thank you so much, Janet.
You're welcome. I'm so thankful. It was a lot of work because I had so many things happening this last week. It's just been chaos, but it's getting better now. It's starting to calm down. And if I can just work out this schedule with the stuff that's going on my dad's side, my family, it'll get easier. But it's just, trying to shift things around to fit something else in, it makes it like really frustrating. And then it seems like everything else is like bam, 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 like bumper cars, going off. But once I get all that straightened out, it's going to be a lot easier. But I really appreciate you coming on the show and hanging out with me. And hopefully we'll do it again, because I'm hoping that you're going to start getting wanting to go out and make some more videos and stuff, because I think it's important. I think that by us sharing our own experiences and our feelings about things, that someone who looks up to you is going to say, yeah, that was really good and you really helped me. And maybe they'll share it with someone else. So each time you help someone with whatever it is that you went through, that's a good experience, because you're helping someone else not have to go through the same bullcrap that you had to go through. You know what I mean? You're helping other people not make the same mistakes.
I completely get it. Thank you so much. And I will definitely, even if I don't bring up the vampire series, one of the things I definitely have been thinking about doing is another just check in on where we are energy wise on Earth and why things are kind of hectic in the way they are now. And I did a video about that many years ago, and I was pretty well received. And so I might start doing some of those and just helping people understand all the noise that we hear right now.
Well, just pick one thing and just make a video, make a short. Because now that they have shorts on YouTube, I do lots of shorts, but I started out on TikTok. So, making goofy videos or whatever. And it's grown into me doing live streams. So you never know what you can do. We're never too old to learn. All the way up until the day that God takes us back, we can still learn something, and that's what I try to focus on, is that you're never too old to learn anything. And there's always something new to learn. So you never have to be bored because there's always something you don't know. You know what I mean? I love that. I love to be inspired that tomorrow I'm going to find out something I never thought existed, that was even around. So, but thank you again for joining me tonight. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful night. And I hope you guys like my outro because I absolutely love it. And I can't wait to go see him in June. I'm going to get to go see him live in concert. And I'm really excited about it. So you guys all have a wonderful, great night. And hopefully see you tomorrow night on the Friday Night Shit Show.
First off, let me convey to my family, friends, and supporters that now is not the time to gloat. We must remember that most of our left-leaning friends are good people who want the same things in life as we do, but simply think differently on how to get there. It is now time to be the bigger man, to extend an olive branch and unite all reasonable people of this great nation. God has blessed America, and together with President Trump, we will make America great again.